What is a secret that you will never tell anyone? When I was 9, my dad and I were reading Reader's Digest and found a magazine subscription card for a free case of Depends adult diapers. So we wrote my uncle's name and address down and put it in the mailbox. He got it a couple weeks later and called everyone in the family to find out who it was. We knew my uncle was fuming, so we kept it to ourselves. To this day, everyone suspects that it was my other uncle. I used to work in a shopping center. One time, as I was walking into the building, I sneezed and totally shit myself. I was about 10 steps away from the shop, so I had to think fast. I took a hard left turn and walked directly into a department store. I only had $5 on me, so I beelined for the underpants section and got the cheapest pair I could find. I then had to go to the center toilets and sort everything out. It was a real mess. I texted my boss and told him I was stuck in traffic, but in reality I was 100 meters away, trying to salvage any shred of dignity I could for the next 20 minutes. I'm happy to say the mission was a success, and that day is now the benchmark by which all other days are measured. Every day since has been infinitely better. When I was in elementary school, I once lost something, so I asked to go to the Lost and Found. In the Lost and Found room, which was a big storage closet, they also stored the cokes for the pop machines. I took one. Then, probably 3 to 4 times a week, I'd remember I lost something else, and go steal another coke. I don't know for how long I did this, but I got a lot of free coke. When I was in 4th grade, I put mustard in one of my friend's burger, because he told me that he hated mustard. Turns out he was actually allergic. He didn't come to school for 3 days, and I was scared that I killed him. To this date, no one knows that I did it. 2 days in a row, when I was in the 2nd grade, I pissed my pants. Because the teacher had a policy where she wouldn't let any students go to the bathroom, even during free time in class. The 3rd time, I spent a solid 10 minutes begging her, before she finally said fine. I pissed my pants on the way to the bathroom. My family only knows of the 1 time, but I had to deal with that humiliation 2 times before, and it was within the 1st week at school. After that, I had a water bottle that I pissed in during her class for the remainder of the year. I don't know what she was expecting if somebody who just moved in with 0 friends would be doing in the bathroom. I would rather tell my own self to piss on her desk, because that would have been less humiliating than pissing my pants 3 days in a row. In preschool, a parent brought in fruit roll-ups for the entire class, and they mysteriously went missing while the class was at the gym. I ate like a king after bedtime for the best week of my life. About 20 years ago, I worked for a big publisher. They were upgrading all their tech and just dumping it into the skip. I asked the security guy if I could take some stuff from the skip, and he said to help myself, as it was all going to get crushed anyway. During a night shift, I filled up my car with a beige G3 Quadra Apple Macs, keyboards, mice, and some 19-inch 4Max screens. Some of the Macs even had Quark Express and Photoshop on them. I cleaned them up and sold it a lot. I made enough to buy a G4 Quicksilver of my own, which I still have today. I didn't tell my coworkers, ex-wife, managers, or anyone else. Probably 15 years ago, my sister had a gerbil, and one day I decided to bring it out of her cage and surprise my sister in the living room. Somehow, I slipped on carpet and the gerbil went flying headfirst into the wall. It basically sounded like I threw a golf ball at the wall and the gerbil wasn't moving. Naturally, I put it back in its cage and removed myself from the vicinity. To my amazement, that damn thing was still alive and moving around a few minutes later, and it lived another 2 years, without anyone ever knowing that I basically copied it into the wall at full speed. In 3rd grade, I thought it was cool as hell to wear glasses, but I had near-perfect vision. So I absolutely bombed an eye exam on purpose, and now, almost 20 years later, I'm legally blind without glasses, cause my eyes got so effed. That's my secret to take to the grave. As a teen, I stayed the night at my best friend's house and slept in their guest room. I was woken about 2 a.m. to the sound of her older brother arriving home intoxicated from a party. He saw me in the guest room and leaned against the doorway to say hi. He then stumbled to his bedroom but never turned the hallway light off, and it made it difficult for me to get back to sleep. So, after about 10 to 15 minutes, I got up and walked down to the end of the hallway to the light switch. I turned it off and started walking back to my room when I briefly glanced into his bedroom as I walked past. His door was wide open and he was sitting at his computer with his back facing me. He was naked from the waist down, beating off to what looked like transgender sexy movies. Can't be certain, but it looked like someone in heavy makeup, long hair and with a dong. I must have made a noise, because he swung around, saw me staring and said, "Oh shit." Then I immediately and swiftly returned to bed and lay in the dark, not able to get the image out of my mind. 5 minutes later, I heard him creeping down the hallway. I was like, oh god, here we go. He looked so sheepish and uncomfortable. He stood in the doorway and apologized for what I'd seen, and begged me not to tell my friend, his little sister. I swore I'd never tell them, and told him it's fine, and to go back to bed. To this day they wonder why he hasn't got a girlfriend, and they think perhaps he has a crush on me, because he acts weird around me. Yeah, OP, I wonder why.